For some of us, high school is a glorious time in our lives. Not all of us. I'm sure some of you guys hated high school, couldn't wait to graduate and get out of it. Me personally, high school was some of the best 4 years of my life. Matter of fact, I was just reminded the other day how long it's been since I was in high school. It feels to me like I just graduated yesterday, but I received something the other day from a committee informing me that our 20-year reunion is going to be next spring. Last night, I was texting with my dad. I was scrolling through YouTube, and for some reason, the old DX theme song from the WWF in the late 90s, early 2000s, it was in my recommended section on YouTube. Brought back a lot of memories. I think more kids were suspended back then for emulating the crotch chop or telling people to suck it than they were suspended for anything else. So I sent the video link to my dad asking, hey, you remember this? So we got to texting back and forth, talking about how back then, 20 years ago, parents were concerned about their kids being rebellious. They were concerned about their kids getting into trouble. Just being kids, When you sent your kid off to high school, you were worried about them falling in with the wrong crowd. Now, fast forward to today. Parents are concerned with their freshmen coming home, imploring them to use proper pronouns. In 2002, if 16-year-old Jim decided he wanted to be Jane, started wearing a blonde wig and high heels to class, he would have only done that one time. It would only take one time for that lesson to be learned. Today, Jim would be celebrated by the school administration and the teachers as a beacon of cucumber rights. The wrong crowd in high school, it's no longer defined as the kids smoking by the snack machines. Other students, they should be the least of your worries. Today, the wrong crowd in high school, it's located at the front of the classroom, in the principal's office. The Washington Examiner, they just published a story about Madison High School in San Diego, California. The Examiner was contacted by a student who wished to remain anonymous. Now, you guys know I usually don't like anonymous sources, but this is another one of those rare instances where I understand the need to remain unknown. For starters, the kid's a kid, he's a minor. He also doesn't want to receive any backlash from the teacher, the administration, or even other students who might disagree with him. Most of the time with anonymous sources, we are forced to determine on our own their credibility. We either believe them or we don't. That ain't the case here. This kid provided evidence of his claims to the Washington Examiner. This bullshit I'm about to show you, it occurred in English class. When I think of high school English, I think of being required to read old literature. I can distinctly remember one of my English teachers forcing us to read something called Beowulf, painstakingly boring. English at the high school level, they are teaching you how to do research, write papers. On this particular day in San Diego, the English teacher, he was supposed to be teaching the students how to write an argumentative essay. Basically, he was supposed to teach them how to do what I do here every day. Present you guys the facts of a case, argue my point, let you decide what you believe. An effective argumentative essay convinces as many people as possible to see things your way. That's what these kids were supposed to be learning. When the kids walked into the classroom last week, this is what they saw on the whiteboard. Now, my first thought when I saw this teacher has no business teaching English. As it is currently constituted, wouldn't a better choice of words be as it is currently constructed? Is it really too much to ask for the English teacher to have a strong grasp on the fucking English language? Once the bell rang and class began, the teacher began indoctrinating the students with his personal views on the Republican Party. He went up to the whiteboard and he defined the word fascist. Now, according to the Webster Dictionary, fascism is defined as a political system headed by a dictator where the government controls business and labor and opposition is not permitted. But that is not the definition these kids were given. I couldn't find the name of this teacher, so we're going to go with the classic Tran Dan. I mean, this is Southern California, home to some of the sexiest trans in America. It's not too far-fetched to assume this teacher is a switch hitter. One day he's Dan, the next he's Fran. One day he's sporting a dong, the next it's a thong. Trey and Dan, who boast about English being his second language, he has a different definition of fascism. Are you ready? Gather around, children. Listen closely as I list examples of fascism. We will start with Orange Man Bad. Other examples include straight men and their toxic masculinity. Any man who is attracted to a woman without a penis is definitely a fascist. Christians, obvious example. Anyone who is against illegal immigration, fascist. Last but not least, white people. The evil white man, he is born into fascism. He looks at someone like me, a bearded man wearing a dress, as some kind of mental patient. I'm not making this shit up. Check it out for yourself. My question is, who approved this lesson? Teachers are given a curriculum that they have to follow. I mean, they got to follow the curriculum. They're not allowed to teach whatever the fuck they want. Did someone at the school board approve this, or did this teacher just go rogue? Now, you would want to believe he went rogue, but with this being California, it would not shock me if this was approved at the state level. And wait a minute. I thought Christianity was not allowed in public schools anymore. According to the woke commandments, God, and more specifically, the Christian God, must not be mentioned on campus. Trandan violated his own laws. Not only did he speak the word Christian, he wrote it on the whiteboard. They are indoctrinating these kids. If this dude would have been teaching about the incompetence of Joe Biden, if he was teaching students that woke United Methodist is bullshit, the deacons would call for him to be fired. You cannot teach your personal ideology at the high school level. That is against the law. But when it comes to preparing students for woke you, that's okay. But it gets even better. Oh, does it get even better? Another teacher in California is bragging on TikTok about her queer library for students. KC, what the fuck is a library? Yeah, I didn't know libraries still existed either, much less a queer library. This library is filled with books promoting the LGBT lifestyle with an emphasis on the letter T. What happened to diversity, equity, and inclusion? This does not sound like a very diverse library to me. Doesn't sound equitable, doesn't sound inclusive. They have a book titled Chad Cucumber Enters the Promised Land. They even have the popular magazine Vacuum Cleaner, teaching aspiring shitfucks all the different ways you can suck. But I thought this movement was all about inclusion. What happened to, classics like The Adventures of Tom Sawyer? Instead, this library has Tom Becomes Mom, an exciting tale of how Tom Sawyer fathered a child and became its mother, teaching kids that the rumors are in fact true, men can indeed get pregnant. The library was started by Danielle Serio, who goes by the shitfuck name Flint. Not sure if you guys are aware of this, so I'll explain it to you. The woke movement's kind of like the mafia back in the day. These people, they don't want their real names to be known because they know the vast majority of people think they're insane. So what they do, they invent these alter egos on social media, catchy little nicknames. Danny here goes by the name Flint, because it's gender neutral. Is Flint a man? Is Flint a woman? Is Flint a garbage disposal? Who fucking knows? We should have a gender reveal party to find out. As it turns out, they did have a gender reveal party for Flint. They shook the magic woke 8-ball, came back non-binary. Not sure what color they used to celebrate non-binary. Boys always get blue, girls get pink. Perhaps the non-binary is brown. Who the fuck knows? But they produced this nice little video informing students how they can tell if they have an emotional support English teacher. What is it with all this emotional support bullshit? Emotional support dog, emotional support cat. I saw something the other day. This dude had an emotional support alligator. You know who I turn to when I need emotional support? Jim Beam, he never lets me down. Anyway, check out this video they presented to students in California.
How to tell you might have an emotional support English teacher. Affirming classroom decor. Pronouns in a male's signature. The overwhelming urge to come out to them.
What the fuck was that? Look at me waving the flag. Ooh, I'm your emotional support English teacher. What the hell does any of this bullshit have to do with teaching students English? Where are they finding these teachers? When I was in school, teachers were hired based off their qualifications. School board in San Diego, they recently announced they are now hiring teachers based off of, just take a wild guess. Wild guess. Race. Yeah, race. We have so many students who identify as Latinx. Some of these students are even crossing the border to attend school. They need more representation. We need more Latinx teachers. First of all, stop with that Latinx bullshit. It's an insult to the Hispanic community. Second, why are students crossing the border from Mexico to go to school in San Diego? Last I checked, that was illegal. Also, last I checked, more people were crossing the border to get into Mexico to get the fuck out of California. But here's a novel concept. Why don't we hire teachers who know how to teach? Who cares about their race? One of my favorite teachers in high school was my Spanish teacher, black lady named Miss Turner. You know why I liked her? She didn't put up with any shit. I could joke around with her, she would joke back, but she knew when to tell me to shut the hell up. You think I cared about her race? The only thing I cared about, could she teach me how to say pickup lines in Spanish? But is it any wonder why this generation is so fucked up? Is it any wonder why companies have to hold sensitivity trainings? The public school system is raising a generation to be soft-ass victims. God forbid our military ages and we get into a conflict and got to depend on these kids. Who's going to defend us? We have kids who can't figure out their gender. How are they going to figure out how to defend the country? What are we supposed to do with this rifle? Bend over and I'll show you. I'm not even going to pose a question this afternoon to close this video out. Just let me know what you think of this garbage. This is the future of America. Sound off in the comments below. Make sure to like and subscribe. Click the notification bell to receive all notifications from the channel. Best way to contact me is by email at btlkc84@gmail.com, kc_btl84 on Twitter. I'll see you guys tomorrow.